back. This time we're going to be doing the season review of the Cincinnati Bengals, who had a very disappointing season. Um, a team that's made the playoffs, I don't know, it's what, 6 years in a row, something like that. Not to toot my own horn, but I did predict that they would not be making the playoffs this year. Thought Andy Dalton's shortcomings would eventually catch up to him. And that's kind of what happened. But we're going to go through the Madden roster, talk about some ratings, and then we'll give them a season grade at the end. We're going to start here with the quarterback, Andy Dalton, one of the players on this team roster that I moved down. I believe he's an 81 or an 82, and I think 76 is about the right spot. When all is said and done with these rosters, that's going to put him pretty much right in the middle in terms of quarterback rankings. He's just another guy, another good starter. He doesn't make a ton of mistakes, but he definitely makes mistakes, and his accuracy is nothing special. But yeah, I'm not going to spend a ton of time explaining that. That's kind of where I stand on Andy Dalton. And then these other guys, nothing too much to talk about. I don't have many opinions about A.J. McCarron. And then the running backs, Jeremy Hill and Gio Bernard, I don't think they're going anywhere. Just a good complementary bunch, neither one being really a lead star running back. And then on to the receivers, A.J. Green, I moved up. Just such a freak, and I think his rating would have been higher if he stayed healthy and continued on the path that he was on, really having a tremendous season. I expect him to be back in full force next year. Brandon LaFell, I like him as a piece. I had to move him down. He was at like an 81. I think he's a good, solid wide receiver too, which the way I do my ratings is about a 76 overall. A really good athlete, but doesn't really do anything specifically well, but a nice young receiver. Not young, solid receiver. He's 29. And then a lot of interesting prospects here, none of which really jumped off the film. I had a lot of high hopes for Tyler Boyd, and he didn't really make much of the A.J. Green injury. So we'll see if the second year has more to offer from him. Tight end, you got Tyler Eifert's a stud, and then not a whole lot after. The offensive line, you basically have Andrew Whitworth, just the steadfast guy there. He is an upcoming free agent, however. So we'll see. I think he might be on his way out. Maybe just a time for a change of scenery. I could see him going to one of those great teams that needs line help. I was thinking either Denver or Minnesota. Minnesota makes a lot of sense because of the Coach Zimmer connection. So we'll see what happens with Whitworth. And then the rest of the offensive line, the three guys on the inside are solid. I think Zeitler, a little overrated. I moved him down. I saw him miss a lot of blocks in pass protection, which honestly you don't see from guards a ton. So when you do notice it, it's pretty problematic. But he is still a great run blocker, leading the way for those backs. And then the right tackle is probably the biggest problem for the Bengals heading into the offseason. Cedric Ogbuehi was awful in pass protection. He got benched. So they're going to have to find someone to play that right tackle, especially if Whitworth does leave. I know they were playing Jake Fisher at right tackle towards the end of the year, and he was doing all right, but there's a chance he's going to have to move in and start at left tackle. So this line is really a big problem heading into next season, and it's going to be pretty indicative of if they're successful next year. Defensively, there's reasons to stop losing optimism as this defense just keeps getting older and older. A couple of years ago, it was looking like this was going to morph into one of those elite defenses, and they just haven't really seemed to put it all together, and now the guys are getting older. Dunlap is still a stud, probably the best player on this defense other than maybe Geno Atkins. And then, you just look around, and it's not a ton of reason to get excited. Michael Johnson, he's probably not going to be the starter next year. If he is, that could be an issue. Geno Atkins still a stud, but he's getting up there in age. Not a ton of depth on the D-line. The linebackers are just brutally slow. and it shows up in the film. It's not just a Madden thing that you don't want. You don't want slow linebackers in real life either. I mean, Vontez Burfict, really the only young-ish stud on this defense. And even him, he's got some off the field issues. Not sure he's really the guy you want to be your best defensive player. Adam Jones, he'll be 33 next year. I think he probably gets cut. And we'll see what we get from William Jackson, their first round pick, who missed pretty much the whole year. So maybe some excitement coming from him going into next season. But George Iocca had an awfully disappointing season. I had him pretty high in my safety rankings before the year, and he was very disappointing. And then Sean Williams had a good year. We'll see if he can keep that up. But really, this Bengals team is in desperate need of youth all around the board. And then, at the heart of all of these issues, you have the Andy Dalton problem of when is it going to become time to upgrade the quarterback position? And I don't know really the answers for this Bengals team. As far as the season grade for these guys, I'm going to give them a C minus. They had some tough injuries that hurt them, so I'm not going to hold those against them. But man, you really were hoping this team would take the next step, and they took a couple back this year, and it could be really spiraling downhill at this point. So that concludes my wrap up of the Bengals season. Let me know what you guys think, and then stay tuned for the next video, which will be the Bills. So peace out.